Coach Maz, and I know we just heard from Caden Wood. He said there were some motivational tactics, maybe a box score from the games against Westchester last year. How do you get the team in the right mindset when it seemed like all season long this was one of the biggest goals that they want to achieve?
They were self-motivated. I'm not taking any of the credit for that. They don't forget. I mean, when we went to Westchester last year, that was the most grueling day we ever had on a baseball field. We just poured our heart and soul into those 20 innings and came up short. And it was a highly contested series with those guys, and I think that was in the back of our mind, combined with, and we talked about this on the show, us not being here last year. I just think we came in here on a mission. I just got out of the way. These guys are playing the game extremely well right now. Just cut them loose and let them play. That's kind of how it went this week.
And another way it went this week is that you got really good starting pitching, and you won some games earlier than expected via the run rule. So that really, I think, set you up well today to use your bullpen however you wanted and saw fit. How much of an advantage was that, especially going against a team in Westchester, obviously, that had to play twice yesterday?
Yeah, this was a huge game, winning the championship. The most critical game in this tournament was yesterday. That third game, to get the day off and come back today saves an arm, but it saves a lot of energy. I mean, Westchester's a great team with a lot of guys that, played in the national championship last year, and you could tell, they were just missing pitches today. There was some fatigue involved, no doubt. When you shut out a team like that, yes, we pitched it pretty well, but I think they were running out of gas a little bit. Yeah, you're right, Sean. We conserved some pitching early in the tournament with the 10-run rule, and also just staying out of the losers bracket. That's the key. But Leighton and Vecchiola were just outstanding. Those were two guys, in the 3 and 4 spot. Maybe the last 2 weeks of the regular season weren't as sharp as Bergert and McCullough. But, man, they both battled and pitched really well against a great team. And we didn't have to go real deep into our bullpen, but every time we did, Caden Wood, McCullough, and Barker just lights out. So, we did a lot of things really well this week. We fielded the ball really well. I think, maybe one error the entire time.
Yeah, I think it was your pitcher, right?
Yeah,
Bergert.
On a bunt. So, man, baseball's such a tough game, and everyone's goal is to do all three things well every game, which usually doesn't happen, and we did all three things well for 4 games. It's pretty special.
I asked Vittmeyer, is there anything that you need to improve upon as a team? And he had to think about it for a second. What's your take on, obviously you played great overall and in all phases, but how can you get even better to continue this run?
Well, I of course, we're probably nitpicking, when you win by 10 runs, but I think we needed to run the bases a little bit more intelligently. We are aggressive. We take some risks, but I felt like once we got up a bunch of runs in certain games, we got a little bit careless with our base running. Our situational hitting, I think it might have been the Cal game. We had a guy on third base, nobody out, didn't score. We made some mistakes with runners in scoring position today, too. And we're going to continue to attack those things. But overall, you got to dig pretty deep to find some flaws from this week.
Rouso's named the MVP, and I think he did so with an exclamation point today. 5 for 5. I think that's the second time in this tournament you had a player go 5 for 5 because Oberdorf did it the first day. Talk about Vinny and how he's been, not just this past week, but all season long, such a key part.
Well, we have a lot of competitors on our team, and I don't know if anybody's as fiercely competitive as Vinny. And he's probably one of those guys that had those memories of last year in his head. And the other thing, too, he was a massive part of our World Series team. He knows what it takes to be successful in the postseason. And one of the cliches of sports is great players show up in the biggest moments. And he thrives in those big moment situations, whether it be at a bat, a championship, game on the line. His performance was tremendous today. It was tremendous the whole season, or the whole tournament. But I'm honestly not surprised. He is just obsessed with working hard, doing things the right way, and he does it by raising everybody else up. The energy you see from him is just unbelievable. You talked a lot about his stolen bases,
for just that. So you're well positioned now going forward, but how do you make sure you make the most of it and get to the ultimate goals?
Well, this is part of the plan, and maybe that sounds cliche too, but we set some goals for our team at the beginning of the year, and we revisit those goals pretty often. We've been fortunate to check off 3 of those so far. There's still 2 more that we want to check, and these guys have risen to every single challenge. The more they succeed, the more opportunities they create. We would have had an at-large bid to the regional, right? Even if we didn't win this, but they've created more opportunities, and hopefully they'll continue to seize them. And I know they're very motivated to continue to knock down those goals they set for themselves early in the year.
Congrats, number 3 for PSAC championships, and hopefully a couple more accolades still to come this season.
Yeah, we've had a lot of success in these PSAC championship games. I don't know if you guys talked about it, but I think we've only been knocked out of this tournament 1 time.
Not including the rain out ending, right?
That's what I'm saying. We've only been eliminated 1 time since 2016. This was the 4th PSAC championship in the last 6 seasons, taking 2020 away. So we got a knack for getting to this title game, and it was great to capitalize on it today.
Well, go enjoy this one before you turn focus to the next round.
Sean, thanks so much for being here. You do an absolutely awesome job. I probably speak on behalf of our alumni, our parents, our fans.
We heard from about 50 of them today, by the way.
Awesome.
They were tuning in full force, and I know there was plenty of them here as well.
Yeah, I want to thank Greeny for all his work today. Everything from start to finish that Flick does, these broadcasts are second to none. I say it all the time because of what you and him do. We are blessed to have the best broadcast in small college baseball, and our fans thank you for that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Coach Marc Marizzaldi, 3 PSAC titles after today.